Now, some holidaymakers and residents in KwaZulu-Natal are disappointed with the state of a popular swimming pool at the beachfront. And due to concerns about beaches, parents are keeping their children out of the sea. Nobuhle Modise earlier caught up with the City of eThekwini's manager, Musa Mbele.
Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Mbele. Would we say that the city overpromised and now is struggling to deliver when it comes to a number of issues in the city? We know the beaches, the e.coli levels in the beaches keep rising, they go down, they rise again, and then we know that the pools are a big problem, especially that RF pool that we spoke about earlier, as well as CAC. Just speak to us on whether you oversold yourself as the city.
No, certainly not. First of all, this park that we are launching is not a replacement for facilities such as the pools. Remember, we've got more than 30 pools across the city. Majority of those pools are working. We've shared photos of children enjoying themselves, bathing in those pools. The pools that have not been working in the main are the CAC pools and the Rachel Finlayson pool. I can report to your viewers that the Rachel Finlayson pool is going to open this Friday. The challenge with the CAC pool is because the material has to be ordered overseas and there have been some delays about that. But your question earlier was to say, even before the floods, the CAC pool was drained of water, it wasn't working. Yes, that was the case. Somebody took a decision to empty the pool during COVID as a way of discouraging people from using it. Little did they know that the equipment was going to attract rust. This is a very harsh sea environment, and most of the parts of the pool were damaged. Then there were certain supply chain management delays that caused the delay in the actual fixing of the pool, even before the floods. But the lesson we've learned is that in the future we must focus on the landmark facilities that best define Durban. People may not know other 30 pools that are working so well. They will only know this one, the CAC one and the Rachel Finlayson pool. It's important in the future, having learned our lesson, that we must prioritize those. When it comes to the beaches, the beaches that we said will be functional are still functional. The amount of infrastructure upgrades that have happened in places like Ohlange Pump Station and so on are there. They are fixed. In places like Northern Wastewater Treatment Works, we are fixing those. The Joanna Road Pump Station, we are fixing those. So we didn't overpromise. We still kept to the promise that we said we were going to ensure that Durban is a lively tourist destination of choice, and indeed it is.
Thank you very much. That's the city manager, Mr. Mbele, here, just answering your question, saying that they're indeed not overpromising. The RF pool will be open Christmas Eve, and people can come and enjoy that.
Now, some of Durban's beaches were reopened 2 weeks ago after they were closed due to the high levels of E. coli from damage of sewer pipes following April's floods. Now, several political parties, including ActionSA, have been urging the city of eThekwini to fix water and sanitation issues. I'm now joined by Zwagele Mwango, ActionSA KZN chairperson. A very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, we've just listened now to the eThekwini city manager, Musa Mbele, say that they didn't overpromise as far as the festive season is concerned in the city. All is well.
Hey, look, it's disappointing when you listen to a city manager really misleading people live on television because most tourists want to come to Durban. We also want people to come to Durban. But truth of the matter is, it's not safe to swim in Durban, especially in our beaches. It's just shocking that a city is concerned about making money in terms of economy. Yes, we want to see our economy grow, but at what expense? We need to really save lives. You know, I can right now say on the 15th, there was communication from the city where they said which beaches are opened. And on the same date, there was a results coming from an independent company, not the city, showing that 3 of those beaches are opened. I can mention the Mushaka Beach, South Beach, and North Beach. E.coli was high.
Yeah.
Ushaka Beach, on the 15th, the same date, the city communicated that they are open, they are safe. E.coli was 589 count. That's CFU per 100 mil. And if you look at South Beach, it was 712 count. And then you could not Beach, which is also high, 455. And I must say, at a moment, or any scientist will tell you that a CFU above 250 is not safe currently. It might not be critical, yes, but not healthy. So it's not healthy to allow people to swim. Now, you look at North Beach. North Beach is where on the 17th of December, there were 3 people drowned there who died and 17 hospitalized. At that time, the E.coli was very high. So meaning, this will, when you swallow water with high E.coli, obviously, that person never survives because it goes straight to your lungs. It's already dangerous because you've swallowed a lot of water. So definitely, city, this death, and the city will have to account, unfortunately, because I can also say to you, Umpo, which is very shocking. There's been no many deaths in our city, and the city keeps saying open beaches, but at the same time they know very well in terms of capacity of lifeguards. They don't have a capacity. There's a leaked report in Paul. It's a leaked report I have here with me, and this report make recommendations in Paul. It specifically says, I will just read the conclusion on this. It was done by City Integrity. It's done by the city. There was a whistleblower who made a complaint to the city in 2019 by saying the company that train lifeguards in Durban is not affected. So those are affected by this company. Now, part of the issues raised here on the conclusion on the investigation by City Integrity, it's signed on the 17th of May this year. The conclusion says, according to the report from the Department of Labor and Chasteta, the Lifeguard Award certificates issued by Life Saving SA to the candidates employed by municipality does not meet standard requirements. Therefore, should be considered invalid. Then it make recommendation to the head of parks to consider qualification for position of lifeguards who are accredited and endorsed by state. But also make further recommendation that they should follow a supply chain process. It's not a part of MFMA because also there's an issue with this company, with an NGO they are using, which doesn't have any agreement with the city. And the investigation by City Integrity highlight that to say there's no agreement which is against MFMA. But the point here is about life of our people. To say, now you've got 3 people died, you've got 17 hospitalized, many traumatized. Same situation. The city is sitting with this report, doing nothing about it. Now you've got people who are supposed to save lives. Now, let's come to this issue, Paul. The report talks about the freak current. I dispute that, Paul. That was just a rip current. A rip current is a normal tide. It's always happened, you know. A freak is something that happened outside normal circumstances. So here, it's a rip tide that lifeguard should always see before it happens, which is normal. That the current come hard to people, then that's when lifeguard can be able to close and say, no, move out people, because you can see it before it happens. So proactive measures. Now, if you have a lifeguard who are not well trained, and you're still asking people to come to beaches and knowing very well more beaches are closed. So meaning you've got a number of people coming to a central point. So those small open beaches, which means crowded, but at the same time, you don't have people to manage these crowds. So the city has been reckless, and the city must account because people have lost their lives here. So families must really have justice from the city.
Yeah.
Because the city has been recklessly saying they open these beaches, and I'm hoping that post-mortem of this death will show that also water quality have an impact on these deaths.
So the eThekwini municipality has refuted claims that it's unprepared for the festive season and that it has fewer than required lifeguards on Durban beaches during this busy period. Is the issue here around the minimal amount of lifeguards, or is the bigger problem the lack of training?
Look, you see here, the investigation will reveal how many lifeguards were there. But what we know in front of us right now is a late report from eThekwini. It's not questioning the number. It's questioning the training, that they don't have valid certificates. So there's an issue here to say, you have people who are saying, because anyone can say, I'm a lifeguard. The question is, do they have valid certificates? Like when you're having a doctor, doctors must have a certificate that says you are a qualified doctor, certified by relevant authorities. So here, authorities, the certified lifeguards are saying, we don't know these certificates, so therefore they are not valid. Now the question is, have cities addressed this issue? And why is it never even came out to the public on these issues? Now, I think there are many factors here to say, look, even the response of emergency team, you can tell the delays. You know, when you talk to some of the parents who were there while kids were drowning, they tell you that you will find that 4 emergency personnel, while they look after one person, others were still lying on the floor, no one attending to them. So that delay tells you that the city was not really ready in terms of any emergency. Hence I'm saying, this was a normal riptide, not a freak, as media have reported, saying a freak, not a freak. Even the state acknowledge it's a riptide, which is a normal wave that come when you swim at the beaches. So there is no way then we can say these circumstances can be avoided. You know, this can be avoided if you have well-trained people who are able to monitor. So the city is being reckless. I will make an example for which I can tell you, the Riverside River, which is Umgeni River, is sitting at, let's just test, 4.8 million CFU per 100 mil. That should be less than 100. That's a river spilling towards between these beaches. So definitely, there's something wrong here.
Yeah.
Now, the question is why the city continuously say people must come to beaches. Why they know very well it's not safe? Because they're not arguing. Even the mayor will never argue about safety. He's always arguing about tourists. Because when he spoke to me, Mayor said to me, you are scaring tourism. Why you keep saying tourism? I said, no, I'm not arguing with facts. Are beaches safe or not? He will never argue with me on that issue because they know these are not safe, but they keep saying people must come to these beaches. So the results are there. So I'm saying, for me, I can say while I want to see economic growth in eThekwini, because it's our GDP in KZN, we rely on GDP. People have lost jobs through seasonal holidays. But at the same time, I'd rather have people safe than pushing to make money at the expense of our people. Because as you can see now, I can tell you, with this problem of e.coli we are facing here, wait until first week or second week of January. How many people get sick in KZN? Because at the moment, you will never get sick while after drinking this water. But after a while, that's when you have effect of e.coli in your body. Then how many people get sick? Sometimes in January and February.
Yes, and I suppose the other aspect is that the beaches, yes, are not safe, but the other big challenge is that they're overcrowded as a result of being reduced in terms of those that are open and those that are closed.
Exactly. It is why right now we are proposing to the city. We are saying close the beaches, at least take us to confidence that lifeguards have valid certificates as requested by city integrity, and take us to confidence that you have implemented recommendations that were made by city integrity. But more than that, take us to confidence that if they've got valid certificates, the number of personnel managing these beaches are actually accommodating people coming to these beaches. Because at the moment, you can imagine if you closed 60% of all beaches, only 40 or 20% are operating. It means everyone go to a center of this point. So it's a problem because you can't manage the quality of people coming to these beaches at the moment.
Yeah. And I understand that you have also called for the immediate probe into that deadly incident that occurred. Also, just talking about that, there's also the numbers that I'm looking at here, according to the DA, that the city only hired 32 seasonal lifeguards out of a demand of 160. So there's an imbalance in terms of ratio.
You know, for me, it's more an issue of imbalance of numbers. Right now, it's whether you can have thousands of lifeguards there. The question is, are they trained enough to do their job? Because remember, a lifeguard is also responsible for proactive steps. So there are three factors, three elements, responsibilities of a lifeguard. One is to prevent loss of life. Two, prevention of aquatic emergencies. And then three, conducting rescue and providing emergency care. So meaning these three elements must be met by anyone who's there. So meaning if you got a rip current, which is normal, a lifeguard is trained, will see that now our beach is changing. So meaning this rip current will affect people. Now I must move people out. That is why there were times where, while you're still swimming, lifeguards say, no, move away. Because they can see, they can be proactive in avoiding this from happening. So now, if they're not trained well or don't have invalid certificate to be there, you can have thousands of them, but they won't do anything because they won't be proactive to see this problem.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time there. Let's leave it there for now. Zwagela Mwango.